Welcome back to Stock Catalyst. Those of you who've been watching me for a while know that I'm looking for companies growing their moat with AI, robotics, and tech, but not considered to be tech companies. I got into Netflix back when they were shipping them in the mail, and Tesla before they came out with a Model Y or a 3, because we're looking at companies in traditional markets that we're starting to apply tech. And I'm trying to diversify as much as I can away from Mag 7. So what can we find? And we need to find businesses that aren't going to be eaten by Amazon logistics and retail or B2B, and not just automated manufacturing companies like a Honeywell, a Siemens, or GE to come and eat them up. So looking at Builders First Source, I'm really excited about this company. Not excited that, oh, this is it. Excited that this could be it. So put in the comments if there's something that you're aware of, and if you know builders that either use Builders First Source or considered it or moved away from it, we need to know that and see it in the comments. So today I'm just putting 1% in Builder, and I'm going to watch. It's not in QQQ and it's not in SPY, so it automatically helps our ability to be diversified away to the zombie index funds. So let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm missing something in that. And remember, this is not investing advice for you. I'm asking you for help with my investment. First thing I notice is nobody's really covering it. I looked out on Schwab and I looked on E-Trade, and there's really not any analyst activity to speak of, and there's not really any news or anything like that to go off of. There hasn't been any news in this thing for over a week. Most of these tech stocks that you're chasing like a Palantir, there's news every minute or every hour. There's also not very much following when you look out on the analysis, whether it be on Reddit or even looking on YouTube. I don't really see anything out there. In fact, when I put in their trading symbol, it doesn't even come up to them. It comes up to other things that don't have anything to do with them. And when I look to see if I can find any kind of an analysis to see if there's anybody that did a discounted cash flow analysis, I only found two. Rory Stocks did one in May of 24, and Everything Money did one back in 2021, but I can't even find discounted cash flow analysis of this company. So big enough company for us to be looking at, but nobody's paying any attention to it. So that should be something to be interested in and excited about. So I encourage you to check out Rory's video on cash flow analysis, because it's actually still pretty solid. And if you look at the stock chart and look for what drove this, there's two big things that drove this. But before I get to that, no real coverage by retail or professional, not in any of the major indexes. Look for ETFs or mutual funds that have it in their holdings as a more than a 1% thing. Can't find anything. So what I did find out is they're selling 2x4s, roof trusses, standard building industry things. And when you look at what that's about, again, nobody's looking at it on any of these things. So when I go back to what are they and what did they do to drive the valuation and how they've done really well over the last couple of years, and they still have a PE under 20 even though they're keeping up with these tech stocks for valuation. They purchased BMC, which was another competing seller of lumber supplies, back in 2021, and as part of that they got ReadyFrame. ReadyFrame is a technology where if anybody's ever worked with building or seen builders on site framing a building, they have to get the 2x4s off the stack, cut them to length, lay them out, figure out how short to cut the ones that are either cripple studs below the windows or filler studs above the windows, and king studs next to the windows and doors, and extra slots all over the place, and it's time consuming. If you purchase a stud kit from Builders First Source with this BMC ReadyFrame kit, all the studs come with inkjet printing on them to show where they get nailed in, and they're all pre-cut. So you don't even have to have a saw on the job site. I went and looked out on Reddit to see if I could find anything in construction where people are talking about it. There was a sense that, gee, it's kind of like putting together a Lego set, so don't dump it all out. Do it one wall at a time. But that every builder that did it, as they did it, and they decided this is the way, this is the answer, they use less and less labor. And now with what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now as we're talking about this. Labor at the construction job site level is going to get even more precious and expensive. The other thing they did was, in addition to whether they fell into this technological advantage or got it, because they were acquiring lumber yards all over the country, because if you didn't become size and scale, Home Depot and Lowe's and a couple other regional players like Menards were going to eat your lunch. So they went into the builder supplier. They do not want to sell you and me things at the retail level. They want to see customers that build at least 2 houses a week, not a month, 2 houses a week. So they did this. Then the next thing they did is they recognized, this is that ReadyFrame, and you can find some videos on how it works, and builders that are talking about it. When they talk about it, they talk about, boy, they have to pay so much for the 2x4s, but they're all pre-cut and they all go right up. So then the next thing that they've got is they acquired a software called Paradigm in 2021. And I actually knew this software 20 plus years ago. I remodeled a home, and this is when you bought software on a CD-ROM disk, and I bought Paradigm software, and I had a big gaming PC at the time, and it would render a 3D image, and it was this big deal. Well, now if you go into the big box stores, they do 3D renderings for you to sell kitchen cabinetry and things like that, and the flooring stores do some of that. So this was something that they needed to have, and they acquired this company for $450 million back in 2021, and they basically give it away to contractors so that the contractor can go give people home plans, modify the plans, show them what changes if they change the cabinet color, change the siding style, and really give that service level like the builder's designing all of this, and yet they're really building off the BLDR catalog, which is cool. So that's a little bit about what Builders First Source is and what they do and where they're going. New home construction, obviously right at the housing boom in 2007, 2008 was high, and then it just tanked. They completed the ones that were out there, and then it slowly started to come back up again until COVID hit, and then nobody could get out to do anything, and it's kind of been off ever since. So there's a steady level of housing construction in this country, and I see this as, if there's an industry of significant size where there is an opportunity for automation, whether it's robotics, machines, AI, whatever, the housing industry has no automation. Imagine if you went to the car dealer and you told them the paint color you found that matches your tablecloth that you like, and that you didn't want the 6-foot or 8-foot bed on your pickup, you wanted a 6 3/4 inch whatever bed. The amount of customization in homes that drives the cost through the roof is ridiculous. Builders First Source could be on the front of this. So these are the catalysts that I think are the key ones to watch. First off, watch what's happening with this housing industry, and watch what happens in places like California where everything just burned down, Florida. If they change the rules so that there can be some new construction going on rather than repair what's there and get a bunch of FEMA money, Builders First Source can be the big winner in this. So a couple of other things I would love to know about, especially if there's anybody out there that knows about this. Are they going to expand on their Paradigm software to offer full project managed services to their builder customers and subcontractors? If they make it easier to work with builder than outside of it, they strengthen their moat and their pricing power. Early on in the eBay days, if people tried to go around eBay to avoid the eBay commission, they lost eBay's PayPal discounts, they lost eBay's shipping discounts, and they lost eBay's listing and management process. So even though they could maybe try to sneak some money to do it themselves, it didn't work. And Paradigm would give Builders First Source an advantage where if I run all my subcontractors through their software and they get a percentage or they help me manage it, they could get into the building management side of this really strongly. So I want to know, are they doing that? Are they working on it? Are they pushing it? Next one that I would push would be, are they offering opportunities for subcontractors to become builders certified so contractors could hand more management and processes to builders and know that they can be comfortable with plumbers, electricians who are certified in the Paradigm ReadyFrame system. And then Builders First Source could kind of become a contractor subcontractor management team. If you look on their own website, they've only got a handful of videos out there. It talks about what they've got, the library, and some things at some trade shows, but they really do not have anything in the way that I see on strong management, and where they're going with that. So do they offer that opportunity going forward? The next catalyst that I'd like to know about is, are they going to expand that rendering tie-up? If they went to overhead door manufacturers, solar panel companies, lighting manufacturers, and said, hey, we do this rendering, and if you put your stuff in our render, we can set it up so you can have it shipped to site or be approved or get pulled in. How much would a garage door manufacturer that has their own local dealers pay Builders First Source to be inside of that package? Are they working on those kinds of relationships and building so that these companies that right now they're fighting to see who can pay Home Depot for shelf space or Lowe's for shelf space, the ones that aren't winning that fight, they could pay Builders First Source to get in the Paradigm display. So I think that's important to find out if they'd be willing to go after those kinds of things. Next thing is, are they going to improve upon and enhance their ReadyFrame process? Right now, what the ReadyFrame process is, if I can find a picture here, it's where they do this printing on the actual studs so that you can see where the studs line up on the individual build components. Well, as long as they're running all the studs through a machine, and hopefully it's automated greatly in their factories, in addition to their roof trusses and their floor trusses, and all these other things they're doing, why not print where the electrical outlet boxes go? Why not print where the ceiling round electrical boxes go? Why not have HVAC duct locations on those studs? If they're already running it through this process, if they at the macro level, at the top of Builders First Source, put in ways to really enhance that ReadyFrame process inside a Paradigm, so that once a builder nailed down this is the building, I think if Builders First Source invested in their code inside of their application Paradigm and said, hey, we can provide you the stair stringers pre-cut. You want the stair stringers to have the risers and stringers already put in? We can do that. Do you want your fascia and your soffit pre-cut? Do you want your exterior patio deck framing pre-cut? They could do a lot of those kinds of applications to get other higher markup lumber and finished product, not just the studs and the framing. There's risk of screwing it up and having defaults, so they'd have to ease into it, get certified builders that they know they use a lot, and work into these areas. But imagine if you have your stair stringers. If anybody's been around a construction job and you watch these guys nail these walls up fast, cut and nail, stand up, but when they get to the stair stringers, oh my gosh, it slows to a crawl because nobody wants to screw it up and they got all this marking to do. Imagine if that was done. And imagine if instead of just printing on the studs where the studs stand up and printing on the plates, the top and the bottom plate where those studs come in, have another color for printing where the electrical boxes go, and have another color for where the HVAC stuff goes. And then as long as you're running it through an automated process, have every single stud drilled at, I don't know, a foot off the floor, wherever you want the electrical wires to go through at the bottom. And then the kitchen studs, have them all drilled at 3.5 feet off the floor. Electricians would be willing to say, oh, that's a Builders First Source house? I will cut my bid by X because I don't have to drill any holes. There's so many incredible things that they could do here that I just don't see. Maybe I'm missing it. So if anybody out there knows, let me know. The other thing I see is they should make it so much easier for a contractor to sit down with a client and go through the process, lay the process out, and say, if you're a contractor and you interview somebody, interview them, what style of house do they want? Do they want bargain, better, best? When I look at most of the sales businesses I've ever been involved in, they've got the bargain price to beat the big boxes, they've got the better or the upgrade model, and they've got the you want best of everything and you don't care what it costs. Come up with those 3 house style levels, and then have somebody come in and say, we got this size family, we need this many bedrooms, bathrooms counts, we want good, better, or best. What are your house styles? Do we want a ranch, a prairie style, a cottage, whatever? And then have a simple catalog where once you click those couple boxes, 3 or 4 house designs come up and say, this is the house. There are none of these in your neighborhood. There's maybe a handful in your community. Nobody's going to know. Every changes you make to this is really going to be expensive. Let's build this house. And that they could still go inside and spend the time on what color and style of kitchen cabinets do they want? What do they want for fixtures? Those kinds of things, flooring. And the builder could still give that handhold flavor. But then if that buyer goes somewhere else or talks to anyone else, they're going to find out, oh my gosh, my Builders First Source contractor, and they may never even hear Builders First Source. Most builders that sell prefab or modular homes, their customers think that they're buying a custom home from that builder. So I think that works. The other thing I would be curious about from my experience in building a little bit is if you can build some of the more complex wall units and have 2 or 3 guys on site be able to carry them, like with a roof truss. If you had small wall units for like especially kitchen and bath walls where you end up with a bunch of boards in the back to hold the cabinets, nailing boards I think they would call them, or nailing blocks, and have all those extra drill holes and all those things for the electrical, and so that if they could come in and just stand up that kitchen wall and know it's done, we don't have to figure this all out, we don't have to put all these pieces in, that could be huge. That could be like that stair stringer and really cut time out of the house. And then the other thing, again, looking at their website where there really isn't hardly any activity where they're showing who they are or what they do. I would hope that they could, in addition to expanding their marketing program significantly more, could they partner with groups like, and I put this down before I saw this, it looks like they're doing something with some camp to reduce its costs, but I've seen and I know people that volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. Habitat builds very basic houses, very simple. They just want to get it up for the family. I can't believe that Builders First Source doesn't have like 3 different Habitat houses in their design so that the local habitats could come to Builders First Source and say, send us those pre-printed ReadyFrame structures and we're going to put it up. And they don't even have to offer Habitat a discount or give it away. They could still do the fundraising to get it or whatever, but I can't believe that they're not working with groups like that. Also, in addition to getting the word out and having more strength on their website, and if you look at, they've got stuff out there that it's been out there for quite a while, and there's a couple hundreds of views. 2 months ago, 400 views. Do they need to partner with like a This Old House or other groups out there? Even if it's celebrity YouTubers that get Mr. Beast to build a shed in the backyard or something, I don't know. But I'm looking for companies that are using new technology in real world settings in industries that are easily automated. I can't find an industry less automated than home building, and I can't find a company automating it more than Builders First Source. I expect it to do well in the future, depending on the construction economy. That can still blow everything up. Let me know if anybody knows anything about this and if it's going to work and if there's reason to believe that they really are going to continue to pursue stronger automation and really leverage ReadyFrame, Paradigm, and other things that we haven't talked about. Give me some feedback in the comments. I want to know if I should go much stronger all in on this or if I should recognize that it's all priced in already, walk away. Thanks. If you like this and you want to see more of it on other stocks we're going to look at, subscribe.